Thunder head coach Mark Daigneault has an understated way about him, but how he's guiding this young Thunder team is certainly making waves. When it comes to NBA Coach of the Year, FanDuel considers Daigneault the favorite. He's followed by Chris Finch, J.B. Bickerstaff, Tyronn Lue, and Rick Carlisle. So let's bring Thunder reporter Steve McGehee back in. Steve, you're obviously with the team every game, just about. No surprise then that Coach Daigneault is thought of this highly?
A little bit last year, his name was being mentioned for Coach of the Year honors, and definitely this year, I think right now, he's the front runner. We'll see what Coach Lue can do with the Clippers, but he's been incredible with this team. And you know, 3 years ago, nobody knew who this guy was, but he is a basketball junkie. He knows his X's and O's, and he knows how to relate to basketball players, especially his own, and that's why they're 37-17 right now. I asked Shea yesterday at Media Day, what makes Coach Daigneault so special?
He's super humble, great guy, first and foremost. Really down to earth, easy to talk to, easy to work with. As far as on the court, he has an ability to, he always understands what the right thing to say is, and the things that matter, he always emphasizes. So when he speaks, guys listen, and guys understand that it's something that is gonna make or break our team. Over time, we've seen his, not only his development, but we've seen his schemes and his work coming to life, and really lead this pack and stray us in the right way. And we all have his respect and appreciate him.
What is it about your head coach that makes you guys so good? He seems like a player's coach.
I feel like he knows how to. My favorite thing is like when we come into a timeout and he draws up a play. Like, I feel like he's good at coming up with things off the fly.
He loves drawing up plays. I asked Kaysen if there's any similarities between Coach Daigneault and his coach last year, Kentucky's John Calipari. No comparison. They're two different coaches.
There's no question about that, Steve, for sure. Calipari is a lot of flash. It's not that he didn't have any substance, but he doesn't mind being out there and being the loudest person in the room. And, you know, one of the things I love about Mark Daigneault is he seems very comfortable, Chris, with who he is, very comfortable in his own skin. Now, he's had to build trust, but obviously he's built the trust, and part of that, we're in the communication business, we should know, is being an effective communicator. And guys obviously don't just listen, but they believe, and then they go execute.
Yeah, John, I was going to say managing an NBA roster is a lot like managing our sports department. You got a lot of big egos to keep in check, and he finds a way to keep these guys, when they're succeeding, for still rooting for each other, still sharing the ball, still celebrating the success. You can't make up how close this team is. You can't fabricate that. Mark has a way of keeping the guys together, but if they can't keep it together for the next 28 games, then we start having a different conversation. Now, the first half's been great. At 37-17, the Thunder stayed a game and a half out of first place in the Western Conference. Minnesota's in the top spot. Clippers a half game behind OKC. Then it's the defending champs from Denver and Katie's Suns in fourth and fifth. Coming up this week, back-to-back home games for the Thunder to jumpstart the back half of the season. The Clippers come to town Thursday night. Then it's the Wizards visiting the Paycom Center for a Thunder Friday night here on Griffin Media. OKC hits the road again next Sunday to take on the Rockets. Steve, we're not done with you just yet. I have another question, because the Thunder, they seem to be a year or two ahead of schedule. They're right in the thick of the Western Conference race, as we just went over. Does this young team have enough to grab one of those top seeds in the West, and how realistic is a deep playoff run this year?
Well, the deep playoff run will all depend on who they match up with. We're going to get to that in just a moment from Reggie Miller from TNT, but it all depends on health as well. Remember, we have Gordon Hayward coming in. We'll hope to hear from him coming up on Wednesday. He's definitely going to help this team. Bismack Biyombo can help with some rebounding. If Oklahoma City can stay healthy, I think they're going to be able to stay in that top four in the Western Conference. That is key. You want to stay from one of those play-in games. Stay away from that if you can, at all, if all possible. Here's TNT's Reggie Miller when I asked about if the Oklahoma City Thunder have arrived and how far they can go this year.
obviously you've got the champs out there in Denver. The Clippers are playing out of their mind. But after that, I mean, I know Minnesota, another small market, but what have they done lately, right? So the MVP candidate in Shea, Chet is in the running for Rookie of the Year. Jalen Williams is playing out of his mind. They have all the pieces. The question is going to be come playoff time, all right? And in the West, which is insanely talented, it's all going to be about matchups. And they play a fun style of basketball. But what I love about them is they have two closers. And come playoff basketball, when the game slows down and it becomes half court, you've got to have guys that can close games.
He's exactly right. When you need a bucket in crunch time in the playoffs, Game 7, Game 1, you need guys that can make shots, and that's J-Dub and SGA. Plus, Oklahoma City's also a good free throw shooting team. You need to make your free throws, especially in the fourth quarter and close games in the playoff time. It's going to be fun to see where this team can go. If they can stay healthy, they can make a run. Why settle for second when first is available in the Western Conference? Guys, back to you.
Steve, thanks. Now, come on back home for a few days, do a little laundry. We're talking college basketball after the break.